All right, welcome to Time for 13 in 13. We are here to talk about episode 8. Yeah, episode 8. Sorry, episode 8, The Witchfinders. For those of you just joining us, we are going to talk about the episode in only in 13 minutes. When the time is up, then we have to stop talking about it no matter what we're talking about. So let's get started. So with me as always is Rob.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, all right. This will be an interesting one to talk about. So
definitely.
Let's get into it. So episode 8, The Witchfinders, aka.
Okay, so first one was a funny thing happened on the way to my theology class. That's not it though, right? And then I was like, maybe I'll go with like King James Witch Hunter. And I was like, no.
Okay.
And then I thought, what about The Walking Mud?
Oh,
right?
That's a good one.
But then I went with Satan's Stump.
I didn't think you could beat Walking Mud, but then you did.
And I did.
You totally did.
Yeah. So I love this episode. So here's our plot summary.
Give us the synopsis.
Here we go.
This will be interesting.
We stumble into an early 17th century witch trial, encountering King James I and a village rampant with satanic fear after an alien tree lock is mistakenly cut down, releasing mud monsters who plan to take over the earth by inhabiting human bodies, and it's failed by the witch doctor, a Nubian prince, a pilgrim, and Yaz. All apologies to Yaz. She got nothing in this episode, man.
And Yaz.
The Nubian prince. Prince.
She's the Aunt Peggy of this.
Yes. Oh my God, that's completely right. I mean, seriously,
everybody has their moments.
Okay.
Their ups and their downs. They featured more or less. And
I would love to have seen Bradley Walsh, the actor who plays Graham. I want to see when he shows up and they're like, all right, so what am I wearing for this episode? Puts on all the clothes and they're like, yeah. And then here's your hat. And he's got to look at them and go, what? Oh yeah, put it on. Yeah, pull it down a little bit. Yeah. You're gonna run around the episode for 70% of the time with this on. Oh my God, it's so ridiculous, but it totally works.
Yeah, it's interesting. Once again, now this ended up being way more sci-fi, but they're getting into some dark periods of history.
Oh yes.
Like this was not quite at Rosa levels where they're like really get into the history of it too, but like some really dark times and the doctor has to take this on. And you can see that moment where she's like, this is wrong, and you do something. Nope, can't interfere.
You're right, exactly.
Can't interfere.
It's one of those ones where head turns around, look at all the kids, and says, "Hey, kids, now remember, we're going to the zoo. Don't touch anything. You can't. Don't pick anything up off the ground. Whatever." Turns around, immediately goes, picks something off the ground, and touches something. Right? Like that's literally what happens. Now, I love this episode, but randomly, I will say this: I was really super annoyed for the first 3-5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
The whole opening scene where they get there, funny, Bobby Crapples. When they get to the actual dunking, the logistics of that scene are so screwed up, it's laughable.
Oh, okay. Well,
so they're across the water, which the water looks like it's a pretty good amount of distance,
right? And yet they're whispering to each other.
And they're whispering to each other, and then they dunk her, and the doctor's like, "Oh, I'm out of here." She throws off the coat, jumps in, looks like she swims 6 feet, and is pulling the woman off the thing. And it's like, that's not at all what you just established in the establishing shot. Like, that's not at all what happened, and that's what you just did. It so bugged me that I was like, oh, I hate this. And then, I'm like, okay, calm down, right? They get moving around. They get to the room. They have the conversation, which is this amazing conversation between Becca and the doctor. And then the star of the show shows up.
Oh, yes. I totally forgot that Alan Cumming was going to be in this.
He chewed that part up. He just ate it all up. Well, no, and what I love that whole, literally the smile just grew on my face. Like as soon as he got in that room, and then you have this, which I'll say this, I think it was always expected that at some point you were going to have the doctor with, as portrayed by Jodie Whittaker, is to have the real moment of where being a woman becomes really, really stupidly, profoundly frustrating for her.
Yes.
Right? This was the moment.
Yeah.
And it was so wonderfully done. It wasn't kitsy. It was done where you got angry with her and yet you were laughing about it the whole time.
You're like, oh, you want her to just tell him off so badly.
And Graham, and the shots to Graham where Graham is just like, oh God.
I'm the Witchfinder General. This is the downside of the psychic paper, because people see what they want to see, and so the king can't imagine, like he instantly rewrites the thing to be like, oh, clearly it's not you.
Spoiler on one of the phrases of the episode. Oh, a cunning ruse using your innate aptitude for nosiness and gossip. Like that.
Oh man.
I mean, it's awesome though. It reminded me of the episode, I'll forget the title of it, with David Tennant and Donna Noble's character, where they have this just great, the wordplay, the dialogue was so great. Like it just, I loved it in this episode.
He was great. And like, I'm sure that whoever, let's see, what was her name? Who wrote the episode? Joy Wilkinson. I'm sure she did her research and stuff and had all this great piece of stuff about King James. I knew nothing about King James the First.
Oh yeah,
besides the whole Bible thing,
right?
But like, I'm sure like how he's sort of like flirting with the guys too, and then like the band around his leg, his garter, like all that. I mean, I'm sure all this stuff is like from the weird historical records they have of this, and all the multiple assassination attempts, all these things. Like,
okay, wait, you just got to that scene just has got so much great stuff in it when he's like talking to everyone and he gets to Ryan and he's like, oh, my Nubian prince, right? And you know what I love? I love how, and this is so perfect, this is something I want to point out about the portrayal that they've talked about in this series about diversity. He's flirting with him.
Yes.
And Ryan's reaction isn't, oh, what the hell's going on here? No, it's okay, dude, this is awkward.
It's like, so the King of England is flirting with me right now? You guys are all seeing this, right?
Graham just has this look on his face like, I've seen it all now. Okay. Right? Like, I loved it. It was just so wonderful. It just made me so happy. Here's something we've talked about in the past too. All these episodes up until now, lavish colors, the beautiful shots.
Yeah.
The temperature in the room drops 20 degrees when you watch this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, and they really kept it like cold and uncomfortable, and you can see the people's breath.
Yes. Oh, I loved all that. Okay, and I love when it switches. My daughter and I, we watched it. I watched it twice, and she watched it with me the second time. When the zombie shows up, that's legit. Like that was legit. Like we were like, oh crap.
Yeah, they did a great job on Mother Twistin.
Yes,
like her makeup and effects and stuff, they looked really, really good. Not so much on the other ones.
No,
they just seemed to like just do a little mud around the edges. But her, I thought was really good as sort of what I think what's what they call the hero zombie.
Oh yeah. No, I loved it. And I guess this is so. Here is the big thing that occurred to me watching it, and I really almost would like to actually dive in a little bit and see if there's some talk about where this was coming from, especially the person who wrote this. So you have the topic of, I don't think we've ever had a character name dropped in an episode more times than Satan in this episode.
Yeah.
Right. So you got this whole thing with Satan, and you got this great line by the doctor about, which I'll use in his phrase of the episode, like, the little talk about, hey, wait until you read the New Testament because there's a twist, right? And, a little refer to that. But here's the thing that I found totally amazing, and I can't believe it's by accident.
Is it the fact that the doctor once met Satan in a pit and didn't even mention it in this episode?
Well, no, that I was surprised by. But no, this is where it got into a little bit of the theology of this episode.
Yeah.
So you're talking about Satan, and everyone is always the episode. If I were to explain this in like if I were teaching a class, a theology class, which sometimes I do, and I would say, look, this episode is all saying all the people get Satan wrong. They're all like, oh yeah, Satan's because the crops went bad, or because you can cure someone with a potion. And that's what brings it all about. And that's why, you're doing all these things and hurting people and everything else. The real way that evil would work is by making you afraid.
Yeah.
And afraid of yourself. And here's where the episode blew my mind. When the doctor gets arrested, she is tied to a tree, and the king and her have a conversation where the king is basically, they're having the Adam and Eve conversation.
Oh.
Because he is saying, I want knowledge. I want it now. And she is saying, he's basically saying, I want to eat the apple right now. And the doctor is saying to him, you know what? No, you have to earn that. I was like, wow, it was fantastic. This might be tied with Rosa for my favorite episode of the series.
Huh. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Really, really loved it. I really loved that juxtaposition of things. I loved I just really enjoyed this, and I love the music too. I thought the music was unnerving, and the composer on this, he is really cutting himself a really nice stage for what he's trying to show in his art. I'm very impressed with that.
I really love how Team TARDIS has come together.
Oh yes.
Like they're so good in terms of just jumping into it. Like, all right, we're going to split up. We're going to do this. We're going to there's none of this like, oh, interfering with timelines. What are we going to do? Like, don't leave me alone. Like, it's just like, what do you need me to do? All right, I'm going to take care of it.
And I was given a joke about Yaz at the beginning, but Yaz does. Yaz like, okay, I'm going to go check on, the girl who had to go. I forget her name. Willa. I'm going to go check on him. Check on this and stuff. And I love that. Yes, they're a good team. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which probably means that something really bad's going to happen in the New Year's.
Yeah, no. I'm worried that we're not going to get all three of them coming out. But then, that they did have the first picture came out of the New Year's special, and all of them are in it.
Yeah. So we know we're making it till then.
Yeah.
Phrases of the episode. We've already done the one about, I did love the New Testament, love thy neighbor. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
The cunning ruse, Rosie's gossip, which she does. Graham's like, well, you're kind of nosy. And she's like, well, that's what I'm talking about. It was awesome. That's just great. But I did love, okay, these are the two we got to use, right? We got to give them credit, or else we will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger, right?
Yeah.
And the one right after it, any sufficiently advanced technology is indispensable for magic. Arthur C. Clarke.
That's right.
Awesome.
I noticed that too. I was like, oh, that's great. That's what a great use of that.
Yeah, no, I love, and here's the other thing. As I think you probably go back to the previous episode, I think we were talking about, I love the beginning of Kerblam with the TARDIS. This may be my favorite TARDIS-less episode that I can remember.
Okay.
With no TARDIS interior, and the TARDIS only shows up, for the last 30 seconds.
Speaking of the TARDIS,
it's 30 seconds. There we go.
That's right. We're running out of time. All right. So I would say Witchfinders, just for the Ellen appearance of it, I would put it at.
Oh, brilliant.
So I would say our top tier.
I love it. I'm with it. I'm all there. I'm all in.
Yeah. So all right. So that was our discussion of the Witchfinders. So I can't believe we're getting down to it, man. Like we're almost there. Like
craziness.
Oof. Two more left?
Yeah.
Eesh.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next time to talk about that, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.